Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, I want to talk about one of the very useful functionalities which can be used on a data frame structure and which is known as a group by function. So let's get started with that. Now, in order to demonstrate the group by functionality, what I have done is I have created this small dictionary and I have used that dictionary to populate the data frame. So let's take a look at what is in this data frame and then we'll get started with group by function. So as you can see in this data frame, we have information about sales representatives. So the first column, which is sales rep, has the name of these sales representatives. The second column has the day of the week on which they made the sale. And the last column has the amount of sale that was made by a particular representative on a particular weekday. So let's talk about group by and what does it do. So let's say I wanted to find out the total sum of sales made by Sam, for example, which will essentially be 200 plus 100. Okay. So similarly, I could have been interested in the average sales for Sam and Wendy and Dan, and I wanted to know that which representative is more effective. Okay. So all of these things can be achieved with the help of the group by function. So let's see how we end up using a group by function on a data frame. So our data frame is called df, and I'm going to call the group by function on df, and I want to create my groups by the name of the sales rep. So let's see what that gives us. So once I did df.groupby function, and inside that I gave the name of the column, which is sales rep, what I get is basically another data frame object, which is called the data frame group by object. Now, very often what we want to do is we want to, sometimes we might want to store this in a temporary data frame object. Okay, so which, for example, could be, let's say I could say REP GRP, which is representative based group, and let's say I will put this data frame inside that object rep group, and then on rep group I could call a few. Okay, so what I said is I called the mean function on the group by data frame object that I had created, and automatically what that did is, as you can see, it has given me the mean of the sales made column for each of the representatives. So one thing to note is that my resulting data frame is grouped at the sales rep level. Okay, so by each sales rep, uh, that is the row that I find over here. Now I could have used any other function on this. Instead of the mean, I could have said sum. Okay, and it would give you the sum of sales, or you could have said STD, which will give you the standard deviation of the sales. Now automatically it's giving me the mean, the sum, and the standard deviation of the sales column, sales made column, because the other column, which is weekday, is a string, and obviously sum and mean are not applicable or relevant to the weekday column. Okay, so that's one thing to note here. Now in practice, we often don't store the resulting data frame group by object in another variable, but we directly, once we get comfortable with pandas, we could directly do this. So let's say, what would we do? We would say df dot group by, and I am using sales rep. I could say dot mean. Okay, and this is a combined statement where I've not broken it down the way I was doing it earlier. So this gives me the same output. Now as you see, this resulting data frame basically has these indexes, which is these indices, which are the names of the sales representatives. So Let's try another feature on this. Suppose I was interested in only getting the information for Dan, in which case I could have used the lock function on that. Oh, 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 oh. Here we are. So I could have used the lock function on Dan, and that would have directly given me the particular row that I am interested in. If I wanted to use iLock, I could have simply said, which would have given again the same set of information. So here you see that once you get comfortable with using these functionalities, you could combine couple of these functions together and use them directly in one statement. Now, before I end this video, I just wanted to show you one more thing. So let's say we were working on another function. So I'm going to copy this from here and work off this. So suppose you wanted to use the count function. Now in that case, what happens is that count can be done for weekday as well as sales made. So count is relevant for both of those columns. Okay, so that's why the result that we get looks like this. Now, suppose for some reason we were only interested in getting the count of a particular column, in which case what you could have done is you could have given the name of the column that you're interested in, like this. So this is similar to the functionality that we had discussed in one of the previous columns, in one of the previous videos about how could you select a particular column from the resulting data frame. So as you see, the result over here only gives us the count for the week, day column. So this is to show that once you've done the group by, we've applied the group by on the sales rep column. So we are grouping by the representatives, and we want the count function of the weekday column. Okay, now definitely we could have done something else here if we wanted to. So if I wanted the sum of the sales made, I could have done something like that. Okay, so that's all that I have for this particular video, and I will be talking to you soon.